Good
Microphone
evening.
successfully unmuted. Hello, Future Shock. How are you doing?
Good evening, True Spoon. I am good. This is our first time that we've gone out to all the sites we want to, and none of us have disappeared as soon as the show starts.
I know, don't jinx it, bro. But yeah, you check as well. You checking the sites? I checked them as well.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see that they're all good. Yeah.
Pretty nerve-wracking seeing that they all work. Usually, BitChute is the trickiest one because for some reason you have to update with fresh stream keys every time you go live.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So if something happens, like one time the broadcast, like we lost internet connection and then the BitChute channel disconnects, and then you start the stream again, it goes to the other channels, but it doesn't go to BitChute, which is whatever. As long as it's annoying, but if you're ready for it, it's okay. But
so I need to get an icon. I need to get, like, you've got the little avatar there. I'm just a sort of like white dot with a little thing under with the shoulders. I need to get the cartoon icon to match yours. So I'll do that for next time for sure. But yeah, I'm good, man. Watching your intro that you did there, it would be nice to see Starmer getting kicked out of number 10. But sadly, we've got to put up with him for another few years. God only knows what it's going to be like.
He's stuck to the toilet bowl, and he just will not be scraped off by any means. Apparently, there's nothing he can do. There's nothing he can do. Apparently, that will disgust the public enough that the party will get rid of him. It seems, because they call him Teflon Man. But I mean, I'm surprised I haven't thought of some. Comrade Starmer and that kind of thing. But I'm surprised there hasn't been a more apposite epithet thought for him and his odiousness. But then again, I think if you do these days, you risk Bill knocking into a 3 a.m. But he's a foul creature. It seems to be the more foul you are, the more tenaciously you hang on to power these days, right?
Do you think, like, people are just so distracted now as well with everything that that type of behavior, like, it's more accepted now? People just almost can't be bothered. Like, I know there's a lot of people who rally against him, don't get me wrong, but it seems like people are just sort of shrugging their shoulders and almost just accepting it. It's kind of like what I said to you. I remember texting you a few days ago that I didn't even realize that it was Starmer who in 2003 legalized the ability for illegal migrants to get benefits. I didn't even know that. That's fucking crazy. Because that's almost you could almost single-handedly blame him for so much criminality that's occurred in the country with that decision. It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, I for some reason I'm on X a bit, and I keep getting Keir Starmer sort of. It's quite funny I don't know if you use X, but yeah. It's quite weird. For some reason, Labour have got the X algorithm, and they keep popping up, even though I'm not following Keir bloody Starmer, obviously. But every time one of these Labour MPs pops up and says something fucking insane, like, for a greater Britain, vote Labour. Well, we did fucking vote Labour, and it's fucked up. It's a disgrace. But every time that pops up, the responses are so funny that it's absolute wall-to-wall barrage of abuse, basically.
Oh yeah. I've noticed this with not just Labour as well, with the Green Party, and then also with the Conservatives as well. Like so the Greens aren't a traditional party, but like every single other party other than Reform, every single party who's going up against Reform, basically, I noticed that there's a lot of support for Reform, like you're saying, like in their comments section.
Yeah.
So railing against Labour, Greens, Conservatives, whatever it is. There's a lot of support. And
I haven't seen any Conservative MPs have popped up. They probably don't even realize the game's up for them. They don't even bother, What are they going to say? What are the Conservatives going to say? I mean, what could they possibly say?
I mean, they don't really have a leg to stand on. Do you know what I mean? But they're polling, I think, third. Are they third or fourth? Because I think, like, the last polls I know it depends on the area and stuff, but I think, like, Reform are actually ahead at the moment, and then Green.
I would guess that they're probably fourth. I mean, they've been fourth in by-elections that have been held lately. They've been wiped out. Green seems to be in contention now. A lot of, I know left-wing people, and they actually hate Keir Starmer as well. I think a lot of them are switching to Green.
Yeah, I mean, with this idea, like you just said, this idea that Labour are just going to keep on with the whole, we're going to make Britain better thing. It's like, yeah, you were voted in a couple of years ago, and it's just got significantly worse. So how are we supposed to trust you that? Oh, okay, this time it's going to be different if you vote us in again. It's like, no, we don't trust you. Sorry, I don't trust any of them really, to be honest with you. But like reformers seem to be erring more on the right side for me. But then, of course, we've got the usual ad hominem type. This is the thing, though, because like they can't, because a lot of the time they can't. Oh, did you see that? You must have seen this. The policy that the Zia, what's his name, Zia Yusuf, come out with, where he's saying that they were going to put the migrant detentions, if they were voted into power reform, they were putting the migrant detention centres in green council areas.
Yeah.
And then the Greens were like, "No, you can't do that. That's disgusting." I was like, "Why is it disgusting? Why is it disgusting? Wouldn't they be safer in greener areas? Wouldn't you rather have them in the safe green areas where they're liked, as opposed to in reform areas where people are very, very racist and they're going to attack them and blah blah blah? Wouldn't you? Why is it disgusting? Why is it vindictive?" So I thought that was a great move because it's really like fucked them up because they've just shown their hand, haven't they? Like with their reaction to it, the Green Party, like being so kind of disgusted by it. Like, why are you so disgusted? Isn't this something that you'd want? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of funny.
Yeah, well, they kind of seem to deal with these refugees is an abstract concept and not something that is a kind of a dirty, stinking, dangerous reality. Like there's this. Did you see that silly Spanish woman, that middle-aged lefty, like lived in Madrid, about Madrid or something, and she invited a sort of Congolese refugee into her home, you know, and she had this idea of obviously of getting some virtual signaling points, and at least good for her. I mean, at least to sort of
she put her money where her mouth is,
living, walking, talking the talk, walking the walk, right?
Yeah.
And so she invited this guy into to live with her, right? And basically, the guy just sort of trashed the place. He was playing music all the time and just trashing everything. And like she actually just had to leave her own house because this guy had just taken over and had no. I mean, he hasn't sort of violated or murdered her yet, which is a blessing. But I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, they have this idea that these refugees exist as some kind of sainted. Holy relic or object that's going to shine. They're going to make the world better. But then the reality is that they're scumbags. I mean, they're opportunists, and they're people who are leaving the country not because there's a conflict, but because they're scumbags and they can't make anything of their life at home, and they know that they can get a free ride on gullible soppy lefties.
Yeah, suicidal.
Basically, the state of Europe right now. We're all like living this gullible lefty. Sort of nightmare.
Well, they see the word refugee and let's say immigrant as well as the opposite of a dirty word. So, you've got dirty words like drugs, steroids, they're dirty words. Whereas for them, refugee, immigrant, they're kind of like angelic words. Like you said, they're sainted. That's a good way of putting it. They just see no potential for harm or anything, despite the fact that there's overwhelming statistical evidence to the contrary. And
not just that, but there's a daily news report of what they're really up to. I mean,
what's what I mean? Yeah,
they're not refugees. They're just a violent army of lunatics, basically.
Well, there is a reason why there's a consistent profile of person that it is, right? It's all military-aged men. It's not like, they like to kind of like sort of try to convince you that it's women and children as well, and it's mixed, but it's not. We've all seen the pictures. We all see the demographic and the statistics. It's mainly military-aged men who have lost their passports, but not their phones, apparently. So, it's all just a bit of a shambles. But I've seen stories. I don't know that particular. Oh, so that story that you're telling then, what's the outcome of that? Has she changed her mind? Has she come out and made a statement about that? Like what?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, she just made a YouTube. She just made a video. Must have been on BitChute because I can't find it on YouTube. Yeah.
I'm curious to know if she's able, because if she's got the capacity to walk the walk and invite him in, it sounds like she should have the capacity to change her mind in that situation. Surely, you'd like to hope so, because
there's also this thing in Spain. There's this squatters' rights thing. Have you heard about that? There's
No.
literally, it's insane in Spain. It's insane in Spain. The rain in Spain falls on the plane, and it's all fucking insane. But they've got this law. I can't remember. I don't know when it passed. I haven't got my facts coming out of my ears. But now that if an immigrant or anyone can occupy a property, they have squatters' rights. So I think there's a story of a Spanish couple who went on holiday for 2 weeks and came home to find their house, their flat, occupied by refugees. And the law is the law that they have squatters' rights. And it's extremely common in Spain right now.
Oh, Christ.
This insane sort of situation.
I never understood.
Can you imagine that though? If you're a refugee and you know that, because obviously the George Soros Open Society Foundation's NGOs have told these refugees about that, right? So these guys are on the boat and they're saying, look, lads, if you can sniff out an empty house or flat, no matter where it is, if you can get in there, break your way in there or whatever, you're safe there and you've got it. And they'll be going, right. And that's what they'll be doing. These guys will be prowling around, scouring the city, looking for an open window, looking for somewhere they can squat. And once they're in, they're in.
Well, yeah, basically, all you need, I guess you can organize quite easily to do this as well. Like once you can just do some observation, you should observe, like pick a street or whatever, and just observe people's comings and goings. You can quite easily see with a bit of like surveillance who's going to go on holiday. It's quite obvious when people are going on holiday for a long time.
Yeah.
So all they need to do is a bit of surveillance, and then bump, they're in. I've never.
It's like you say. It's like they passed that law, perhaps not knowingly, but it's like with Keir Starmer, passing that. It's like the hidden hand put all this in place in order that we get to this point. So it's like they laid the groundwork.
Mm-hmm. No, it definitely seems when you reflect back on it that mid-noughties period was kind of like the end of like the golden era. I mean, like I know that Britain obviously wasn't perfect in the 90s or 80s or whatever. I'm not trying to sort of say that, but it was way better in many ways. I mean, not necessarily.
It was awesome, man.
It was a great, we were fortunate. I mean,
we were between Tories and Labour. It was like kind of like political amnesty, isn't it? We were in that honeymoon. The Tories were done. We thought, thank fuck for that. 14 years of Conservative or whatever it was. And it was like that. Things can only get better. I didn't vote for Tony Blair because I smelled a rat, but we all thought things were going to get better, and it was a kind of honeymoon period, right?
Wasn't that even the actual bloody song? Didn't they actually have D Ream?
Yeah, D Ream. And Noel Gallagher and all those people were all shaking hands with Tony Blair, Noel Gallagher's got a lot to answer for because he wrote Don't Look Back in Anger, and that's used as a sort of mental conditioning reflex whenever some lunatics kills a load of young'uns or some stuff like that. We get candles and fucking an oasis, and we all have to feel we're better than being angry. We're going to just take this and light candles when that's really not a solution to the problem. So Noel Gallagher's got a lot to answer for.
Just going back to what you said about that lady letting in the Congolese guy as well. I mean, unfortunately, I've seen stories like this, but the things I've seen more are like these sort of lefty types will go abroad and they will go to other countries and they will kind of like try to demonstrate that, I can live amongst these people. These people aren't like savages. These people aren't going to attack me. And then they either end up getting killed, they disappear.
Oh yeah, those things where they go to India and stuff. And yeah, I've seen that one. That woman goes to India and she spends the whole time just being followed by fucking creepy Indian, blokes just watching her. And she's freaking. You seen that one? I mean,
yeah. I've seen.
She's lucky she's not been killed. I mean, she's got away lightly, but
yeah, they disappear. They find like their underwear up a tree, like quite literally. I'm not even making that up. It's just madness. And it's like you have to just. I don't know how to really educate these people. Like they're just so unfortunately. I'm like, look, it's unfortunate, obviously, when people disappear or murdered, of course. But no matter what their political persuasion, I suppose, but. Just not how you need to educate these people. Are so narrow-minded; they just don't have the expansive perception to understand the dangers. It's really mind-boggling, honestly. But it's brainwashing at the end of the day. So, but they're kind of like members of a cult, and when you're a cult member, you'll just do anything for whatever the cult says. Do you know what I mean? It's just even if it puts your life in danger, you don't realize it.
Yeah, so I mean, this woman is what's her name? That Spanish lady. God, I'm not very good with Spanish. I know French, and I don't know Spanish names at all. Estibaliz, apparently. Estibaliz Cortázar. I don't know, but that's her name apparently. This is April 2025. She started renting out her room because she needed money to make ends meet, right? So apparently this guy, this refugee, started accumulating strange objects and rubbish in the room. When I asked him to remove the rubbish and strange objects, when I asked him to remove them, the aggression began. He damages the house, slams doors all day and night, leaves lights on, turns the TV volume high at night, and doesn't clean his room. I have to take anxiolytics, some kind of sleeping pills, I presume. I lock myself in my room out of fear. I've seen him assault another person, so I'm afraid he hasn't paid rent for months. The electricity bill has gone from 140 euros to 389. The police and the courts say the only way to evict him is with a court order, which can take 10 months. And she complains that the law protects him more than me. I feel completely unprotected as an owner. I mean, this could get far worse, for her. Could you imagine being a middle-aged woman? And in fact, what some of the Spanish have started to do, they've started to hire private security to actually bang down the doors of these squatters and just forcibly evict them.
I was literally about to say the only thing I could think of in this situation is to go private and get someone to sort them out that way. Do you know what I mean? Even if it involves a criminal private sort of enterprise. Because I've never understood, like, ever since I was a kid, and like maybe call me naive or whatever about, maybe I am naive on this particular aspect of the law, but I've never understood the concept of squatters' rights. If I have a property and someone just moves into it, regardless of how often I live in it, if they move into it and I come back, I'm just like, I should just be able to kick them out. The police should just be able to come along and kick them out. Unless there's some nuance that I'm not understanding, I've never got how this is even a thing. How this woman can't just call the police, this Spanish woman, and get them to kick this guy out. I don't get it. It's really strange to me.
Okay, so here we go. Can you see this on the screen? Can you see this video?
Not yet.
No, clashes erupt.
Have you drag it to one of the new scenes? Maybe
it's not coming up, is it? That's a bit annoying.
Do you need to put it in one of the new scenes?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, that's annoying. Oh, flipping restream's kind of a little bit unreliable at times.
Damn it, we were doing so well.
It's all right. No, it's all right, bro.
I'm just messing. Yeah, no, it's all good. It makes it all the more fun.
Yeah.
What would streaming be without a little bit of issues anyway? Do you know what I mean? It'd be boring if it was just like it worked really well.
I want to show this because this is clashes in Spain as a result of everything.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
These are protesting the squatters, but so basically this has become such a problem that the Spanish, I believe, are actually having to protest this. And if let's have a look, we can see that the Jolly police force. They're not in short sleeves like they usually are when it's the preferred ground citizens, shall we say, when they're all jolly and smiling and watching them riot and break down
the uniform for the natives
of the shopping mall, and they're just folding their arms and smiling with short sleeves on. Oh no, we get the proper boys in blue when it's the locals acting up. Look at these! Look at this guy. Unbelievable. It's literally two-tier policing, obviously. Goes without saying. Look at this. We've got women there. We've got all sorts. And they're calling right-wing groups, of course, but they're probably they've had enough, Anyone who's had enough. Listen, I know we don't want to get too much into the ranting, We'll go into the UFO stuff soon, right? Shall we? Yeah?
Yeah, but I was just going to say this is
so easy just to get into the, you know what I mean, bro?
I was going to say that all this is just because you don't want people living in your house who shouldn't be.
I know, bro. I know. And it's a weaponized thing, isn't it? Because like I said, I'm sure they're all briefed on what they can get and what they're allowed to do. And they know that they can
absolutely
stick around and they can capitalize on this law. But,
Oh, yeah. They've not just stumbled across this. This is properly organized. Well, that's the point,
as I say, the police are out in force when it's the locals, But if you can contrast that, like I saw a few things the other day you know, with Birmingham and people, the local with the Browns rioting, and then the police, you know, they're in their friendly, friendly community police, you know, short sleeves, that kind of thing, right?
Oh yeah, we've seen it many times before.
Yeah,
We've seen it many times. I mean, it's just like I don't know how it's gonna. It seems the situation seems one that's not going to be over anytime soon. And I just like this is just going to drag on and on. I don't know what it's going to take.
It'll probably only get worse, bro, to tell the truth, you know? Horrible is it? I mean, when you just think you've seen and heard everything, the horror, the most horror. I mean, listen, I don't want to get bogged down and get depressing about it. But when you're thinking you've seen everything that happens, that they do to children, they do to women, and it just becomes daily fare, and it's just doubling down. There's going to be some things that happen soon. It's just we get inured to it, we get used to it, and it becomes acceptable. But could you imagine if this happened out of the blue, maybe 20 or 30 years ago?
Well, yeah, this is exactly my point. What I was saying.
I think you made that point, yeah.
This is exactly my point. What I was saying a bit earlier about Starmer and like people accepting it. It's just kind of like people have just got too used to it, and it's just like, no, we don't need to get used to this. We need to get used to getting rid of this situation or trying to. I mean, look at Sweden, for example. Look at what's happened with Sweden. It's just a classic case. Areas of Germany as well now. You know, it's just there's precedents. We're not making this stuff up. It's not being exaggerated. And what I don't get, and what these people the people who support this, the lefties who support this, Green Party, whatever, they can never answer this question. I put this question so many times on X, so many times on Facebook. Not one motherfucker can answer it because they know I've got them. And the question is this to them: why are you so against diversity internationally? Because that's what they are. They are pro the cessation of national identity, the destruction of national identity. And why would you want to do that? It's good to have a diverse range of international identities. It's good that England has a different character to Italy, to Russia, to Latvia. Do you know what I mean? It's good to have differences and have unique characteristics about countries. But the more you do let people in, the more you dilute that. And the more you get rid of the diversity on an international scale, it's almost kind of genocidal, actually. And they can never answer this because it's too much of a nuanced question for them. Their brains can't go to that point to answer it properly. But that's what it is. You're against they're against diversity, but just on an international scale.
Yeah,
which is far worse.
It's the Kalergi plan, isn't it? Something we talked about before. This weird half Japanese, half German noble Freemason from noble bloodline, Count Clodenhof Kalergi. It's part of his Masonic agenda that the future will be a mixed race of people, and that's what Europeans will be in the future. God knows why he thought that was a good idea, but yeah.
Well, just this idea of just like leveling everything out, so everything's the same. But I think it's also obviously a control element as well. They feel the less there is national identity, the more it's kind of easier to control people, and less likely that people will sort of revolutionize and stuff like this. So yeah, it's disappointing. Let's just say we are kind of kids of the 80s and 90s, and this was kind of unthinkable. I mean, unfortunately, we like we just said before, we loved the 90s, and we kind of just assumed things would stay the same in that respect. Obviously we expected technology to improve, don't get me wrong, but in terms of social attitudes and everything, you kind of just expected it to stay the same. You never expected to get vast throngs of people swept into the country, just completely destabilize everything and be a massive threat to so many people. It's just mad.
Yeah, annoyingly, I'm trying to find a video of this woman Estibalas Cortazar with English subtitles, but it's just even Grok isn't any use to me. So we'll just have to leave that. I'll try and find out later.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to share something. Yeah, but yeah, listen. I mean, the thing is always to have like a hobby or a backup interest. Otherwise, you're just going to spend your I'm in danger of this. Spend your life just getting het up about this replacement agenda and these refugees, So the aliens thing is pretty interesting. That's all cracking off now, isn't it? I mean, I know that's right up your street, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we are getting closer to some sort of disclosure, and I don't think it's going to be like a full disclosure. I think we alluded to this last week. I think they will tell us a little bit and we will be left with more questions than answers. But yeah, like we're going to go into in a few minutes, there's been obviously a lot of stuff, especially in terms of UFO sightings, especially over water, and there's a lot of theories about this, and it's quite interesting. What have we got here? Oh, is this the lady? You found her?
Hang on.
No,
I'm just going to. Is this sharing now? The green. Yeah,
the
this
green.
is great. This is what I want to.
The one you said.
I want to start off with this. Okay, I just want to start off with this. We're just going to watch this short, and just tell me what you think. I mean, there's no. I'm kind of tricky. I'm not trying.
Disturbing
to
finds that still have
Can you
no.
hear that?
Yeah.
All right, let's watch this. Can you see it? All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Finds that still have no good explanation. In 1994, divers exploring the Baltic Sea floor found a disc-shaped object roughly 200 feet
What is that thing?
wide sitting on the
Thing there. There's like a weird.
ocean bottom. The Ocean X team reported that disturbing finds that still have no good explanation. In 1994, divers exploring the Baltic Sea floor found a disc-shaped object roughly 200 feet wide sitting on the ocean bottom. The Ocean X team reported that electronic equipment malfunctioned every time it got close, as if the object was giving off some kind of unknown energy. Sonar images show a clear drag trail behind it, almost like.
All right, so can you get the idea? You're talking about underwater UFOs. So this thing has been apparently found, spotted underwater, this shape, right? And people have sort of said it's like the Millennium Falcon and that kind of thing, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it
Right. This thing's probably got millions of views, so this is what people are watching.
crashed and slid across the seabed. No research team has been able to explain
All
what
right,
it
that's
is,
obviously AI, so
Yeah.
but that one's almost normal compared to what's next. In 1961,
All right, so that's one weird mystery.
Well,
right?
hang on a second. Sorry.
Okay, there's aliens on the seabed. Okay, next. Yeah. Sorry, what is that, bro?
So with that alleged Millennium Falcon type,
Yeah, alleged Millennium Falcon. Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember what they said in terms of how deep it was, but why didn't they dig it out? Did they not?
We'll just bang it on again. It's only a few seconds.
disturbing finds that still have no good explanation. In 1994, divers exploring the Baltic Sea floor found a disc-shaped object roughly 200 feet wide sitting on the ocean bottom. The Ocean X team reported that electronic equipment malfunctioned every time it got close, as if the object was giving off some kind of unknown energy. Sonar images show a clear drag trail behind it, almost like it crashed and slid across the seabed. No research team has been able to explain what it is, but that one's almost normal compared to what's next. In 19
Okay, so you're going to see that and you're going to think, okay, there's spaceships on the seabed, are you?
I mean,
You see, I've got a healthy dose of skepticism about this. My mind isn't made up either way.
but is there not a way to dig that thing out? I mean, like if divers found it, I know they're saying that electric equipment failed when you go near it, but surely there's a way to excavate that, or at least sort of like get a better look at it. I mean, I don't know.
All right. Well, listen, there's a few more. Yeah. Well, okay. We'll just.
I'm with you.
Look at the others. We'll just focus on this. Okay. So there is thing is like a lot of things. There's a rational explanation, right? So
I was just going to say, sorry,
Yeah.
like when you were saying about skepticism, yeah, I'm with you in terms of skepticism when it comes to things like crash sites, because I feel like it's odd that if something has such an advanced technology that it would find a way to crash it. I don't know. It just seems a bit weird. I mean, I guess it's possible. I'm not privy to alien technology and how it works exactly, but wouldn't you imagine that they're not able to crash in a way?
Well, look, I looked it up. Yeah, but I mean, that's another thing, isn't it? Because you get these crashed UFOs, don't you? That's always been quite a sort of a common trope that they sort of they captured a crashed vessel or something. But I mean, what is it like? If that ship, right, that vessel, it's traveled billions of miles across space. Like the nearest star is 7 light years or something like that, right? And so it's countless billions and billions of miles through space without crashing. And then as soon as it gets to it, apparently it crashes. I mean, I always find that a bit suspicious. You think if the UFOs came here, they'd know how to fly and they wouldn't crash.
A bit windy.
I always think it's much more likely that those crashed vessels are experimental. This is what my research has been saying is secret American technology, and the crashes because it's literally they're trialing the technology.
Yeah, listen, look, I talk about probabilities when it comes to these things, and when I talk about, existence of aliens and stuff. And I think what you're saying is spot on in terms of that. The probability is more likely that it is something that's human made, that's a trial, whether it's whether it crashes, whether it's close to that country, whether it's that country's or another country's, who knows? But yeah, it seems way more likely that it's just a sort of failed human experiment, because we know a lot of them are going on all the time. We know that they have technology, or we can very likely assume that they have much more advanced technology than they're ever going to let on at a given moment. So yeah, it seems way more possible that it's just a crashed human thing.
Yeah, so when you just sort of do a rudimentary grok or check of it, and then the reality, outside of, you see, a lot of it is sensationalism. You got I think people have to be discerning, and the thing is, I think I've said before, we're naturally trusting. We take things at face value. So we watch a video of that, and it looks well put together. Of course, all the images are AI. It's bullshit. But so the disc-shaped object in the Baltic Sea floor is the famous Baltic Sea anomaly, right, called the Baltic UFO, discovered in June 2011 by Swedish OceanX team, blah, blah, blah. Apparently it's about 90 meters in depth. Sonar equipment captured a blurry but striking image of a roughly circular disc-like formation. It appeared to have a rounded top, rugged edges, and a long runway or trail stretching through. So you can see the idea that it, to a fertile imagination, it might look like it crashed into the sea and sort of slid along the seabed, right?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it could well have been, but it's just like, it's probably likely to have been a human-made thing rather than aliens who'd lost control after all that.
So they later returned in 2012 for a dive. They did, in fact, investigate it, apparently.
Okay.
Unusually reported unusual stair-like formations in the object, equipment malfunctions, apparently, possible metallic or artificial appearance. What they discovered, they brought back rock samples. I don't think UFOs are made of rock. That would be quite a technology if you could fly rocks at the speed of light, whatever.
Well, that's what people were saying about the Atlas, wasn't it? That it was a secret spaceship. So
yeah, well, I mean,
that was tongue in cheek.
The thing is with Atlas, obviously it's not a spaceship, but my funny little theory about that stuff is because consciousness doesn't necessarily have to reside in a physical body. I mean, my belief is that light is the sort of fifth element, the quintessence. Light. It's all about light, right? And light has all these properties that make it transcendental, and it records reality constantly. Nothing disappears. Everything is recorded in light, and it never degrades. So if you're looking for something that could be like where God lives, and where your spirit, where your mind goes when you die, it goes into that photonic energy, and that's. So my little thing is, in a weird sort of way, it could. I mean, I might sound weird, but I believe the planets are conscious. I believe that if you've got like a massive, like a reservoir of light, which was planets, what they are, that's energy, bro. I mean,
well, it makes, and the sun as well. Like, it makes sense that planets, the sun, these things that give rise to life, that inhabits consciousness, would be also to some degree conscious. It might be a different, quote for want of a better word, kind of consciousness, or different. I don't know. I don't know what the right word. But you know what I mean? Like a different type of consciousness that we're not maybe aware of.
It's in the Bible. Jesus talks about light a lot, and while you believe in the light while you have the light, and it's a really biblical idea, light and Jesus, and I mean, but doesn't also life comes from light. It actually, that's the origin of life. There's I think not the Muller-Thurgau experiment, but the Muller something experiment. Is it Muller-Thurgau? It might be, but it's an experiment where they discharge electricity into like methane, right, and they create amino acids, and that's the building block of life. That's transiting from inorganic life to organic life, and it's light, it's electricity, it's electromagnetic energy. So that tells you a lot, bro.
But in terms of, we said before about a photonic library, perhaps, but doesn't light just sort of dissipate eventually over a certain distance? you know, the light from the Earth is just traveling away from us and away. Does it just keep? I don't know. I'm asking the question. Does it just keep going, or does it dissipate at some
Well,
point?
no. Well, at the speed, no. Well, photons never degrade, and at the speed of light, there is. That's the funny thing about light is we observe light traveling. We can observe. We can do laboratory experiments, and we can sort of see light moving through mediums and things. And it appears to move. But at the speed of light, there is no space. Everything is that unified sort of oneness, and time stops. And I think I played that pretty cool Carl Sagan video in the last season of this, showing what would happen if you traveled at the speed of light. The universe would become infinitely compact, and you would be everywhere. You would fill the whole universe. But it's really far out, obviously, because we're dealing with things that are beyond what we can measure.
But there must be like an overwhelming...
you enter that eternal realm. Light has all the properties of God and the next world. It's eternal. It records everything. They've done experiment. Well, there's a thing called LiDAR, like radar but with light.
Yeah.
It records. A single photon can record information. So you can imagine that. Yeah, you can put it.
I was just going to say, the LiDAR is the one that they've used that over the Amazon to get a better idea of what's in the Amazon. They've used that to find those columns that they found under the in Egypt. I can't remember the exact size.
Yeah, that's interesting. I did watch that Joe Rogan show with Bob Lazar. One? I think Joe Rogan gets a little bit overexcited. I mean, bless him, but he's no expert. I mean, he's enthusiastic, but he will just believe anything. Do you not find? You think he's a little bit?
I know what you mean.
To sort of believe,
especially these.
There's literally a mile, like a kilometer deep city underneath the Great Pyramids. It just ain't happening, bro. You know.
He doesn't question his guests so much as he used to back in the day. He fraternizes way too much with people, I think, these days. Still, a lot of interesting watches, to be fair, but
he doesn't take him to task at all. I mean, but that's not his show, I guess. It's fair enough. I think he was quite critical with Zawi Hawass.
That was. He said that was one of the worst, if not the worst, guests he ever had on.
Yeah, that was. Zawi Hawass,
which is some effort considering he's had about 2,000, 1,500 episodes, whatever he's up to.
So anyway, they brought rock samples from this thing. It showed ordinary glacial erratics, so no metals, alloys, or artificial materials were found. It's a glacial. I mean, if you want to see, you might say, "Oh, this is the official explanation. They're keeping it quiet because it's aliens." But whatever. I mean, I'm not saying you would say that, but the true believers would say that. You know.
But I think apparently, they could be keeping it quiet because it's a government, like it's an experimental thing. That's another reason to keep it quiet.
Here's a sort of sonar image. You can see that. So, I mean, the thing is, I think the point I'm making here is when I watched that short, I was enthused. I thought, oh, this is cool. And I thought, hang on, I'm just going to check this and get another opinion. And this kind of frankly seems more likely that it's just sort of a glacial deposit. This is sort of formed somewhat the way mountains are or whatever,
Yeah, I mean, look, you can if you get something at the right angle, you can kind of make it look like things you want it to look like. I mean, they've done this with Mars as well, like the face on Mars, and
of course, with
like rock formations and stuff. Now, if you take, I saw someone had put, maybe I'll get it for next week's show. I saw someone had put some alternative. They got some alternative angle shots of the face on Mars, and it doesn't look like a face. It's just it's a rock formation, but obviously from that angle makes it look very strange.
Yeah, Richard Hoagland. See, this is why, because I remember all that stuff, and I remember when I was a kid, the face of Mars being one of them pictures in the PG Tips Book of Mysteries.
It was in the X-Files
Arthur C. Clarke Mysteries, right? And it was one of those things that would keep me up at night, like thinking, oh, that's so cool. And it is cool. It's like I'd love it to be a real massive carved face looking at like from aliens. I'd love it to be aliens, but then then they did the survey mission or whatever, and they found it was just a low definition image, and with the benefit of high definition photography, it was shown to be, you got that that sort of phenomenon of looking for faces when it's sort of that human thing of we're sort of inbuilt with that, children recognizing faces, their mum and stuff. So we look for faces, in synesthesia, is that what they call it? Synesthesia,
possibly, yeah.
And yeah, okay, I mean, that's all I'm saying is like that skepticism and discernment. And I would love it to be aliens, but I'm not convinced. And this is one of the things I remember, those days of Richard Hoagland, and I remember this telling us this is the face of the pyramids on Mars, all that stuff, and it just wasn't, and it isn't. And I'm like, they're just trying the same old stuff. What do you think?
Billy Carson does this a lot as well. I don't know if you're familiar with Billy Carson, and he's somebody who promulgates a lot of like ancient alien type theories. And I follow him on X. In fact, do I even follow him, or do I just get linked to his stuff? I don't think I follow him. Sorry. Anyway, I get linked to a lot of his stuff on X, and he's doing this a lot with all the various photos that are coming out from the Mars lander. He's like showing like different rock formations and saying they look either like it's something that's been carved, not necessarily even faces, just like patterns maybe that are carved. And the image that he's showing, it's like, okay, you can kind of maybe see that, but it's not really that great. And it's almost like he's just trying to make it a thing. Do you know what I mean? He's trying to make it happen, and it's not really very convincing to me. So there's a lot of people doing this, trying to make something out of nothing. Find me something tangible on Mars. Find me some fucking fossils or something. If they not that they would ever tell anyone, but can you imagine if they actually started finding fossils and we knew about it on Mars? That would freak the fuck people out, seriously.
Well, yeah, but you say they wouldn't tell anyone. Why wouldn't they? Because this is really what they're angling for. They want that that social upheaval. They want the aliens. They want Christianity to be disproved. And we know who they are, but I won't labor the point. But they want it on their terms. They want to create the alien race. They want to create the new civilization, the new rules for humanity to follow. The open borders and the sort of green agenda. That they've been trying this for ages, at least since the 60s.
I mean, the thing
even beyond that, with like Madame Blavatsky and the Theosophy and this kind of stuff.
I mean, look, obviously
crossover between the hidden masters and the UFO cult.
I mean, obviously, like if you have an advanced enough civilization, which we currently aren't, you can have open borders. I'm talking about, like, obviously, like a century into the future where we don't have crime. If you have like a civilization where there's no crime and it's highly technologically advanced and everything's cool, then sure, you can have open borders, and then maybe it wouldn't be so important. National identity wouldn't be that important because we've moved forward as a sort of civilization.
Yeah, but listen, whose identity? Yeah, but what we've moved forward to what? Yeah, but what would replace the culture? Because you could argue that European culture and Western culture is based on Christian values. I mean, if you go to Islamic countries, you as a human being, you don't have civil rights as such. You can be arbitrarily taken away by. I mean, they have Sharia law in some of these countries. And they don't mess about. If you're caught doing something you shouldn't be, they don't mess about. The funny thing is, you hear a lot from the right about the threat of Sharia law, but these groomers and all that kind of business, they would be dealt with, man, under Sharia law. I'm not saying we'd introduce Sharia law, but I mean, from my experiences of Arab countries, I mean, you don't mess about in there. Your rights as a sovereign being kind of don't really exist in the way we understand human rights and the sovereignty of the individual in the West, our God-given rights, Well,
I've always thought we should be stricter, to be honest with you. I mean, like, I'm a pretty pro-capital punishment person because I think...
I'm getting more and more that way, but only because of so disgusting what these people are doing these days.
But this is exactly what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. So I've always kind of been like that, but it's got certainly more fervent recently in my opinions of it. And I mean, like Nikola Tesla used to be very pro capital punishment.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was. You can check it out. He used to talk about how it would basically kind of like improve the gene pool. I'm paraphrasing, but it was.
It's a bit of a.
That was the idea. But it's a logical, like, extrapolation, isn't it? Like, okay, we got all these people who are criminals who are killing people. Okay, cool. If we get rid of them and leave
why do we have people? Why do we need rapists and child murderers to be alive in this society? Why do they need to be kept alive at anyone's expense? And then they get released and they go back and do the same thing again.
Yeah,
why is that happening? I mean, Restore Britain are pretty firm on that they will put them to death, these wrong-uns, so I'm all for it, Well, I would be happy to
did you
see
that story that
something like that, right?
Did you see that story that come out from Dubai? I actually just read it this morning. I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a guy who he assaulted a 5-year-old girl there, and they were gonna put him to trial, sort of thing, but instead what they actually did was they took him out into the street and executed him.
They do that in the Gulf. That's right. You mess about with a child, and you won't be alive much longer. It'll be procedural. That's right. Yeah.
This is it. I mean, they did it. To be fair, they've done it in America as well. I don't know if you saw the story.
They do. It's terrorists as well. Even there was this female terrorist who murdered an American teacher about 10 years ago and such. And she was put to death. I mean, she was a local as well. I mean, usually in the Gulf, the locals have a lot of, social cachet and power. But she effed around and she found out. And she if it had happened in our country, she'd still be alive and she'd probably be released from prison by now.
I know, it is just shocking. Isn't it? Well, that's it. And but people are against it because it's kind of, we can't kill people. We can't bring ourselves down to that level. It's not about we're not bringing ourselves down to that level. We're not doing it in the same way that they're doing it. This is a punishment for a crime, and this is for the benefit.
I mean, even as a punishment, I mean, I just see it. I don't even know if I see it as a punishment. It's for the safety of the public.
Yeah. No,
sure. To be honest, it's just removing excrement from your shoe or something. It's just you're just cleaning up a turd. No one's going to step in that shit again. You know what I mean?
It just seems pretty logical, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. It's just weird how. But it's all these NGOs, it's all these charities, it's George Soros Open Society Foundations pushing this soft on crime. The problem is you and I think we're from a better time, and where the lefties in our day, and they were the kind of cool ones, right? The bands, the Dead Kennedys, and all that. It was cool, but we lived in a society where we could afford to be soppy and compassionate, because we lived in a relatively safe society, and we could afford to have these high ideals. But we've cashed that check, and now we're paying the price. And the reality of it is all caught up with us,
We cashed that check, funnily enough, around the 2003, 2004, 5 time.
It was definitely the millennium. Yeah, it definitely started there. Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing is about it, we did live in a diverse society. It was just at the right level.
It was.
Not that I want to talk too much about where I work and stuff, but where I work was a lot more diverse actually back in those days than it is now. After all the diversity drives, which sounds crazy, right? But that's just it's not become diverse because it's gone in a certain direction, which has actually made it a lot less diverse. So whereas before you used to have, I remember the first place I worked in, you would have a lot of range of different countries. There was people from every single continent and any country you could think of. I met an Ethiopian girl. There was people from Mexico. There was people from Poland.
Yeah, and it was always really exciting, wasn't it, to meet someone from those countries, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I've never met anyone from Indonesia. Oh,
yeah,
I've never met anyone from Norway. It's like Norwegians are quite rare.
Look,
you don't meet many of them.
We grew up with in terms of Ethiopia, we grew up with those, horrible, horribly sad adverts, asking for money for the famines and stuff. And
Live Aid, yeah.
so yeah, exactly. And then you grow up, and then like you meet someone from that area, and
Most of that money went to the governments to buy weapons and shit, didn't it? It was just a big scam, basically. It was just it just made the war worse, actually.
But yeah, it was just like crazy. And then you meet someone from me, because I was about 20, 21, I think, when I met her, and I was just like, oh wow. There was kind of a sort of like, there was a different vibe. It was a very different vibe. And now it's not the same at all. I mean, I was literally on a call with people who are quite high up, and they were saying that there were too many. This is literally what they said. There was me, who is a white Brit, and there was another guy who's a white Brit on the call. He wasn't saying this. It was someone else who was saying this, who was actually also a white Brit, but was female. And she was saying that this is about 2.5 years ago, that there are too many white faces on the executive board and in the hierarchy in general, and we need to do something about it. Literally, we need to do something about it. And I kind of regret not saying something at the time. I was kind of just a bit shocked. And like, I was, in a meeting with much more senior people. It wasn't really I was like taking minutes and stuff. So it wasn't my place to really say anything. And obviously you got to be careful with this shit, right? It's your job, you haven't got the freedom to speak up, unfortunately. But I kind of regret, I feel like if it was me now, I would have actually said something then. So I kind of regret not saying something. But it's so shocking to hear that, isn't it? Well, it's not shocking, actually. It's not a surprise, but it's still to actually hear those words. We need to do something about it.
I don't know why they come here if they just want to turn it into their own country and fill it with their own people. I just don't understand, why would you come to this country if you want to enjoy the fruits of what we've created and then make it like what the shithole you created, right?
It doesn't make any sense. Did you want to have a little break and put Sandwich Pan on? We come up.
Yeah, I will, man. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm just gonna. I made. You might have seen. The audience might have seen this video. Sandwich Pan, San Pan Frisco. We're getting spammed on the chat. If anyone's actually listening out there, it would be nice if you put a message in, so we don't have to deal. We've just got spammers on Kick at the moment. But I mean, they're just trying to sell us bots and things like that. You get a lot of that. Bot farms and things.
Yeah, they're trying to lure you in. Oh, I have a suggestion I want to share. But
it's illegal anyway. I mean, they just want to buy viewers and things like that, right? Some YouTubers have done that to get their audience grow. But
no, they do it all the time. You can tell because there's a discrepancy between like the viewing figures, and there's a discrepancy between the live viewing figures and the eventual viewing figures. So, like for example, someone will have a channel. I know someone who has a channel.
Jeremy Hambley, the quartering, does that apparently. But yeah,
there's some football channels that do that. There's one that's got about like 400k subscribers, and they'll do a live video. Let's say it's an hour long, and then if you tune into the live video, they'll have like say 5,000 people watching live allegedly. But then a couple of days later, if you check back onto that video, it's only gone up to about 7,000 views for 48 hours. That makes no sense whatsoever. What it is they've actually bought those live views. You can actually buy live views to make it look like there's more people watching, and then it encourages people when they click on it because they go, oh, 5,000 people are watching, I should watch this. So it's all a big step. Because if that was real, if that was the real pull of the channel, 48 hours later you'd be on like 30,000, 40,000 views. You won't be on 2,000 more. It doesn't make any sense. So this is definitely a thing like people do. Like they buy all these views just to try and trick people into watching.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Because there's okay. Listen, you want to take a break? I'll just bang this on in 8.5 minutes. Yep.
Come on, in a bit.
I'll see you in 8.5 minutes or so. All right. All right, bro. Okay, here's Sandwich Pan, San Pan Frisco. God willing.
Select your favorite song and I still don't know what to tell you, but I'm not sure I can smell you, and it's not that fucking fragrant. Some mad gypsy, more than slightly tipsy, free as a bird without a wing. He's got to turn up in his filthy nipsy. And there's one case always in your personal space, and he's blabbering and jabbering his shit breath in your face. He's a no-tip bruiser, dipsomatic boozer, crackhead, smackhead, single meth, common death, full-time loser. A red light in the door used to indicate a horror. It wasn't in my own profession, so discretion was the key. It was I'll say no more. Now if you get a bone, you can openly get blown. It's all sucking and then cooking in the squalid motherfucking fucking no-no zone. Well, it's all buggery and buggery and muggery and druggery and pimping and pimping and so fucking buggery. Well, you say that I'm lucky, you could easily be me. Well, I'm shocked, cause if it was, I could safely say that I would act gentlemanly. Bangers and mash, cause as if you fucking fuck good enough, then you go to you go for a splash. To keep a stove afloat, gonna need a bigger boat. I can sympathize with that, you watch the odds of this remote is with every vote. Perpetually annoyed, bullshit anti screwdriver, fucking tentacle. To believe he was a saint who never tainted his blood with opioids. Bring them back from the beyond. Public friends and million old kids, so many that the memories in the magic wand. Some murder, theft and rape. This obsession with progression turned out really silly into a hellscape. They're different with the cops and the crime never stops. So if you end up the petrol, it's always under empty shelves and closed down shops. Anti-Pharaoh one at the barrel of a gun, cause the junkies and protesters, cause the potential investors to the tail and run. Say is I remember a day when a certain man called Howard Apple County police busy got his punks away.
Privilege, point of personal privilege. Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
In rooms that are available, there's a range of options to use, right? Please don't go into that space with anything that's like an aggressive scent. Is there anybody here who's done abortion clinic escort work? Don't talk to MAGA assholes. It's so that people aren't going to get triggered.
John's finest little Golden Herring is a classic 70s thriller. Well, it concerns a cop who's out there to stop a truly sadistic killer. Clint plays the titular Harry, the cop with a 44, who forges a path between justice and wrath with scalping after the law. Andy Robinson as Scorpio should have won an Oscar that year, because his performance was so electrifying the film almost killed his career. Imagine being so good at acting that you actually make people sick. I've only seen him in two other films, Hellraiser and Charlie Barry. So Harry tries to expedite things because he knows this is something unique. He knows that this is a new kind of monster. He knows that this is a new kind of freak. And he knows the killer's identity. And he knows the killer's address. But his superiors constantly fucking go on about due fucking process. Well, Harry don't care what the press says, because he knows this boy has to die. Harry's a real man with morals. Harry's a true stand-up guy, so Harry ignores all his bosses and he disregards every rule. And in the tradition of every great western, it ends up two guys in a duel. Now Harry recycles his monologue, did he shoot 6 shots to 5? And Scorpio giggles and goes for his gun so certain that he will survive. But Harry's got one left this time, so Scorpio just ends up wrecked. The credits roll and as a whole the film is simply fucking perfect. Now at the time critics disliked it and they dismissed the film as far right. It seems that some things never change, you know. Film critics will always talk shine. So the studio under pressure with a pitiful show of remorse got Cimino to pen a sequel, The Apology Magnum Force.
I know what you're thinking, punk. You're thinking, did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Now, to tell you the truth, I forgot myself in all this excitement. But being this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and will blow your head clean off, you could ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Okay, and we're back.
Very nice. I was trying to get my avatar sorted before we came back, but I failed. So I will have a sorted out avatar for next week.
All right, have you got anything you want to pull up?
So let me see if I can drag this into, let me just have a look here. So yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about so we're obviously talking about UFOs for a little bit today. A lot of things said, especially recently, but over many, many years, about how there's a lot of these sightings over oceans, overseas, over expansive water, basically. The idea being, which is promulgated by lots of people, and it's coming out more and more recently, that there are underwater bases of a kind. This is the theory, that there are underwater bases. This is kind of where they hide underneath the water, which makes some sense, because if you were going to do this, you wouldn't hide in mountains. You know, you would hide, if you had the advanced technology, you would hide deep down below these pressurized oceans where we can't go and we can't find them, and you probably wouldn't crash either. But yeah, so there was this thing called the Tic Tac incident, and this was on Joe Rogan as well. There was, the clip is up from Joe Rogan. Let me actually see if I can can I just drag it straight into, bear with me 1 second, I should have prepped this. Where's it gone? No, I've lost it. That's genius. Here we go. 1 second. There we go. So this is a YouTube. Let me just grab this tab. I think it's messing me around.
I actually found the video of that Spanish lady who let the refugee stay with her for a bit. It's Paul Joseph Watson does it. Do you want to see that while you try and find that?
Yeah, if you put that on whilst I just sort this out.
If I can do it in a few seconds. Hang on. So yeah, whistle while we work. Here we go. Okay. So full screen. Here we go. Paul Joseph Watson, who's familiar to. Is that It's showing
Yeah.
up.
A
Do
refuge.
that, yeah. Oh shit! Did I mess something up then?
Hang on, it's not showing up. Wait a minute.
Hang on, do that again. Sorry.
Wait a minute. We're all fucking around now. What's going on? It's all Restream is doing my head in. It's not sharing. Hang on. Oh, hang on. All right. Ain't. Oh, yeah, it is. Here we go. Yeah, this lady, can't remember her name, something unpronounceable in Spanish. Let me see. Estigmas Cortázar or something. Not Spanish. We're particularly good at Spanish, but.
A refugees welcome open border activist invited an African migrant to stay in her home. What could possibly go wrong? Estebali's Cortázar started with the best of intentions.
Bueno, yo le conocí, a ver, yo estoy en una plataforma que ayudamos a personas inmigrantes y refugiadas.
She really did commit to the cause.
Entonces acogemos en nuestra casa a chicos que están en situación de calle y, por ejemplo, en mi casa, pues venían a dormir al sofá.
A middle-aged woman inviting random African boys to sleep on a sofa. Look, she just wanted to help.
Entonces, esta persona había estado en casa de unos compañeros durante un mes. Yo estaba buscando un inquilino, él buscaba habitación, me dijeron que no habían tenido ningún problema con él.
Yeah, he's a great guy. We've had absolutely no problems with him. Honestly.
Y por eso le cogí.
It was then that her nightmare began.
¿No ves?
Dog eye for the purple.
Otra vez las luces encendidas. Que he estado 15 minutos fuera.
House is a total pigsty.
Todos los días. La casa.
Turns the lights all the time apparently. All night.
Todo encendido.
There's been a little cultural enrichment in the bathroom.
Si quiero utilizar el baño o ducharme, esto es con lo que me encuentro cada día.
He hates her dog and has zero respect for her property.
Esta es la silla que tiene para estudiar. Este es el carrito de mi perra que lo odia a muerte. Pero a muerte. Porque mirad cómo lo pone. Así trata mis cosas.
And suffice to say, doesn't appear very grateful. But it gets worse.
Pues mira, él desde que se levantaba hasta que se acostaba, su único objetivo era molestarme. Entonces, por ejemplo, a las 12 de la noche se levantaba al baño y dejaba las luces encendidas. Tenía que levantarme a apagarlas. A las 2 de la madrugada, lo mismo, me tenía que levantar a apagarlas. A las 6 de la mañana, él se levantaba, ponía música, ponía un montón de alarmas con el móvil, ponía todas las luces encendidas, abría la ventana.
Just an utter cacophony of endless noise and disruption.
Todo, poniendo la televisión hasta las 12 de la noche a tope para que no pueda dormir. Y llevo, pues, he estado más o menos un año durmiendo 3 horas al día.
It was at this point that you might think she'd be doubting diversity's our greatest strength, but it gets worse again.
Una vez llegué a casa, en el comedor, pues en la sala, yo me senté a cenar, él estaba con el portátil y estaba viendo porno.
Had to blur it, but you can take a wild guess at what he was watching on his laptop. This went on for an entire year, and because of her pathological altruism, she endured it.
Esto lo hace para sacarte de tus casillas, para intentar que te vayas, para acampar a sus anchas en la casa, o esto, ¿por qué lo hace? ¿No tiene suficiente?
Y son 11 meses y no se cansa.
But it gets worse again, having acknowledged that she literally invited a psycho into her home.
Yo estoy convencida que es un psicópata.
Estebaliz came up with a smart idea to fix the situation. Bring in another migrant to talk to the unwanted tenant and just convince him to be reasonable. Yeah, that went well. The unwanted tenant tried to bite the other migrant's face off. I never thought leopards would eat my face, sobs woman who voted for the leopards eating people's faces party. He then harassed her, abused her with nasty insults, and assaulted a female friend who had visited the house in an attempt to mediate. Suffering a nervous breakdown, her life had become a living hell.
Bueno, tengo psicólogo desde hace un mes o así.
When social services ignored her plea,
Fui a la casa de la mujer y claro, como todo este tema no es violencia de género, no es mi pareja, pues en ningún sitio me han ayudado.
Estebaliz finally contacted the police, only to be told that squatters have rights and that she'd have to continue to pay for him to live there. But don't go away, because I'll tell you what we know about what happened in the end. This all happened in Spain, which just handed legal status to 500,000 undocumented migrants, bypassing Parliament entirely to do it. As Ground News' biased coverage shows, left-leaning outlets like IB Times are framing this as an act of economic necessity. PM Pedro Sanchez calling it
an act of justice for people Spain needs to sustain its aging workforce. Meanwhile, right-leaning outlets like Le Figaro are calling it a betrayal and a catastrophe for all of Europe, with the conservative opposition in Spain labelling it outright treason and vowing to challenge it in court. The right frames this as a government bypassing democratic checks to push through an unpopular policy. This is why I use Ground News. They're the only app showing me the full picture on the stories that actually matter. By pulling coverage.
Yeah, anyway, that was
get rid of you then, sorry.
Sorry?
Did you disappear? Because I just changed the view because we couldn't see because you and me, our avatar.
Yeah, I did disappear because I wanted to hide my avatar for the subtitles. Yeah,
because I changed it to the right hand view option, and then you disappeared.
Yeah, well, you did the smart thing, and I did the dumb thing. Yeah, so
let me see if I can get my screen.
Yeah, you did the smart thing. How did you do that?
It's down at the bottom there.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I was like, I want to share that. So what have you got, bro?
So this is basically, I think this is Favor. So basically, there was a Commander Dave Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich who were doing some training across the ocean for the USS Nimitz carrier, and they encountered this what they call the Tic Tac, a large white Tic Tac looking object. And I believe from this 2:21 seconds is him basically what happened and what he saw or they saw. So I'll just unmute it and play it.
And we saw this little white tic-tac looking object, and it's just kind of moving above the whitewater area.
Do you ever drop your phone and it sort of bounces off the countertop and then bounces off something else, and it's sort of like no predictable movement, no predictable trajectory?
Yeah.
I guess it was just
like a ping pong ball.
No acceleration.
Very, very random.
Acceleration.
As Dietrich circled above, Fravor went in for a closer look.
So you're sort of spiraling down?
Yep. The tic-tac's still pointing north-south. It goes and just turns abruptly and starts mirroring me. So as I'm coming down, it starts coming up.
So it's mimicking your moves.
Yeah, it was aware we were there. You want to see how close I can get. So I go like this, and it's climbing still. And when it gets right in front of me, it just disappears. Disappears. Like gone.
And you saw no visible propulsion, no wings or anything to make it fly in our atmosphere?
No, actually, when it turned and started coming up, it was kind of like, okay, because we have nothing that goes that fast and just starts climbing at will.
Seconds later, the Princeton reacquired the target 60 miles away.
So in a matter of...
Like that?
Yeah, it just appeared there. Mm-hmm.
In seconds?
Yeah.
It was 60 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
Later, another flight crew encountered what they believed to be the same object and briefly locked onto it with a targeting camera before it zipped off again.
They didn't get a visual on it, but they did get this FLIR footage, the forward-looking infrared.
So you've got the infrared image,
Right.
Yes.
and your eyesight,
Yes.
and the Princeton,
The radar.
all saying there is something out there.
Yes.
The Princeton had been tracking the anomalous objects for days. Dietrich says they were unarmed.
You know, I felt the vulnerability of not having anything to defend ourselves, to not having any rounds, anything on the rails. If this was, in fact, a hostile threat, and we were engaged, I felt vulnerable, and then I felt confused when it disappeared.
Dietrich says she briefed superiors about what they all saw. In no time, the story of their encounter spread quickly.
Rumors like that spread within seconds. I would say with less than 30 minutes, the entire ship knew this happened.
And what was the reception like?
I thought it was kind of funny and started
Yeah.
giving us a lot of grief.
Ridicule.
Yeah.
Ridicule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically that's kind of it, basically. But yeah, so I mean that doesn't necessarily mean that that's aliens, by the way. But it's, you know, obviously that could be again like technology, that could be a government-style technology that they're not letting these guys know about. You know, not going to necessarily tell. They're not going to tell, obviously, sort of like people in the Navy and whatnot that they're doing these things. They're on a need-to-know basis, isn't it? But you know what they're describing there, and the movement of it, especially, and the high speeds of it. You know, that's obviously not something that we have, that we're aware that the military has the capability. It's like quite extremely above what we know that we have. But then, like we've alluded to before, we don't know what secrets they're keeping from us, from their own, developments and stuff. And also, we don't know what those developments are based on. These developments could be a little from column A, a little from column B. There could be tech that they found that they're then trying to imitate or kind of like develop and calibrate for themselves. But yeah, it's become a very famous story. And like I think it was just him. It wasn't the lady, but he himself went on Joe Rogan's show and they were kind of chatting about it. It's quite an interesting episode. But there's a lot of these things that get seen over water, and it's just lend itself to this growing theory, more popular theory that there's bases underwater. Oh, this is the Matt Gaetz thing.
Yeah, Matt Gaetz. Yeah, it was the former Attorney General, wasn't he?
But yeah, this was kind of crazy.
The Trump presidency, but yeah. This, you've seen this, bro. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, what did you think?
I was just sort of amazed that it's Matt Gaetz saying this. I mean, this is obviously someone who is close in the Trump circle, close in the government circle.
Well, not so much now, though. I mean, the thing is. This is the thing. This is. I've got a little suspicion. I'll play this. There's some really good footage we can talk about. This is Benny Johnson. I don't know if you know Benny.
I've heard, vaguely, yeah.
He's top notch. He's really great, yeah. So I'll just play this. I don't know what to think of what he says. This is quite interesting. Let's listen to Matt Gaetz here. He's a former Attorney General, but he sort of lost the job. He resigned in sort of difficult, strange circumstances. But
it was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
Now, listen, I always get suspicious when I hear about these breeding programs and things like that, right? What do you think? I mean, it just seems too far-fetched,
Well, yeah, this is kind of what I was going to say. Just sort of, even for me, it just seems a bit too far-fetched. But then also at the same time, I don't know. Look, sometimes you think to yourself, well, what do we actually reasonably expect to know? I mean, there's so much that we don't know. I mean, it does seem kind of out, but it's just like it's Matt Gaetz saying it. It's not. He hasn't really got a reason to lie about this, as far as I'm aware.
Well, he's not in. I know, but he's not in government, and he doesn't have a whole lot to do these days, does he? He's trying to stay relevant. I know I'm being. It's all that thing, isn't there? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
So was this said when he was ousted from government or before?
Yeah, this is pretty recently. Yeah, this was what's the date? I think this is like a week ago or so.
This is from a lot further back, isn't it?
Is it? Are you sure about that, bro?
If you check the
1 month ago, mate. Yeah.
No, but the actual was it? No, it was.
It's 1 month ago. Honestly, bro, he wasn't in government at this time.
We just go back to square one, which is non-human biologics, interracial alien mating. What the F is going on? Look, wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Can you please unpack that?
I had.
You see, what is interesting is Benny does clarify, asks him if he's seen it himself, and he hasn't. He's only reporting what he's been told. You know what I mean, right? Well, anyway, let's carry on.
I had a guy who was uniformed. He was a senior enlisted with the United States Army. Came into my office at Crestview.
I mean, this could well be a disinformation campaign, right? For whatever reasons. Yeah, okay.
In Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting, I had members of my staff there, and what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants. Now, again, I didn't verify this, but what the whistleblower was telling me is that there were like between 6 and 12 locations around the country where this happened.
So, I mean, it's this thing of not only a sort of healthy skepticism, but also a certain cynicism about the secret rulers of our world. And most of what is going on in the world is deception. And I spoke about that, saying that the truth is always protected by a bodyguard of lies, that Winston Churchill quote.
Yeah.
All they have to do to create a a UFO scare or to, for whatever social reason they might want to do that, is to get some military guy and to turn up to one of these guys and tell him a story. And he's going to believe it. I mean, Mark Gates hasn't seen anything for himself, but he's just going on what he's been told. And we know what kind of people rule our world. We know that they're not honest players. They're not telling us the truth. And we also know that they might have a good reason, not a good reason, but a reason to create this. What they call it was called, used to be called Project Bluebeam. Yeah, we talked about Project Bluebeam, the idea of showing some kind of apocalyptical second coming of Christ and stuff using holographic imagery in the sky, right? To divert. Yeah. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, Bluebeam was all about creating this kind of like new religion, wasn't it? Like kind of creating a new sort of like one global religion or something like this type thing, a new age religion, in a, you know, in sort of alignment with the whole kind of new world order, one world government type stuff.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, it was going to be sort of like the holographic technology. I mean, I suppose if you look at what, I mean, you must have seen, like, you know, what they can do with holograms now, and what they can do with drones as well, and holograms.
Well, the drones are amazing in China. I mean, what they do there is unbelievable.
China, basically. Yeah,
we can't even. It's astonishing what they're doing in China. But I remember if I showed you that image from Dubai when they were projecting the moons of Mars for the moon mission. The moon's a lander that the Emirati government had put on Mars, I believe, some kind of unmanned craft, and they projected the twin moons, Phobos and Deimos, right?
Deimos, the Mars.
It looks incredible. It looks amazing. Yeah. So I'll just continue this a bit. There's some really cool footage actually, which is interesting for me, and it makes me wonder.
And what he wanted was a group, members of Congress, to all show up at the same time at all of these different locations, so that any of those activities could not be moved. And of course, it's a physical impossibility to get members of Congress to simultaneously show up at like 8 locations at one time, and so that never occurred.
What do you mean non-human biologics? Like this?
Well, that was the testimony of David Grush before the House Oversight Committee, which I joined.
I don't know David Grush, but again, a lot of these people. The other one was Tim Burchett. You mentioned him.
Yeah.
But again, he's not someone who's seen anything for himself. He's just reporting what he's heard, and these guys, full of fever and terror and wonder, they go running off into the media reporting secondhand news. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, what Burchett was saying was things like, he thinks there's a cover up. He was saying things like, I think it's possible in the vastness of the universe that, we could be visited. He was saying that there's like, millions of dollars spent investigating the things. But he wasn't really saying anything specific. But
I watched his video, and he just seems to be saying that he's angry that he doesn't know anything about UFOs, that they haven't told him anything. When you look into the nitty-gritty of what he says, he doesn't say a lot. He just seems to be angry that no one's telling him and revealing anything. There's not a lot of content in it, I don't think.
There is a similarity in a way to what Gates is saying, because there was one part of Burchett's interview where he was talking about how an admiral was telling him that there's things that move at hundreds of miles an hour underwater. And, he said that...
Yeah, unnamed sources as usual. I mean...
But this is what I mean. To your point of, well, that could easily just be a plan. That could easily just be someone just, like...
It could be. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I don't know, bro. I would love it to be aliens. Let's skip to this. I know you want to finish. We're going to finish at 10, yeah?
Yeah, we do 15 minutes or so.
We've got 15 minutes left, so this footage is very cool. And I like it. I don't know what to make of it. It's making me think, which I like thinking,
The ability to merge into one.
Yeah, he's on about.
He's grabbing it right now. Yeah. Like, have you seen this? Like, I don't think you were serving Congress exactly at the time of this briefing.
No. I know the video you're talking about.
What the hell was that?
I don't know, but I wasn't surprised by it based on the ability to merge into one and merge out and merge back in that I'd seen in other radars.
Is merge a word?
I was going to say, does he mean merge?
You think so, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Merv the perv.
So you've seen sequences that look like that resemble this. I mean, we're putting the footage up right now from Annapolina Luna.
So what happens here? I believe this is over Yemen. An object was hit by a Tomahawk missile fired by the Americans, and this object that's hit apparently splinters into several different parts, which then we'll see it in a minute. I just want to explain.
Might have seen this, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So you've seen radar sequences that show objects reconfiguring live in air.
Yeah, and this, yes.
So that glowing object in the middle is apparently some kind of weird. It doesn't look like a spaceship, but it's some kind of object. USO, right? That's what they call them now. Isn't it?
UAP now, isn't it? I think.
Oh yeah. What does USO mean?
I'm not sure about USO. UAP is unidentified aerial phenomenon, isn't it?
Oh, right. I've heard USO is a thing, but yeah.
I have.
Because that's what happens here. It breaks into like 4 different pieces, and then it forms back together. It's crazy.
Yeah. Imagine that.
I mean, I don't know what that is. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like a spaceship. It looks like a rock or asteroid or something, but
kind of. But the move it's supposed to be over the ocean, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, kind of, but it's got that kind of unnerving, weird movement.
Where the
I would
individual
pieces.
Yeah. I'm just going to play it, mute it. Yeah.
No, I was just saying it has that kind of unnerving type movement that I associate with the way that. Remember when we were watching the NASA feed a few episodes ago? It had that similar kind of movement. It's a bit of a weird, what we would call unnatural movement.
So there it is again. That thing. I mean, it's just weird. It's just a thing.
There's a little tic tac
on the crosshairs, tic tac thing. Yeah. Can I make that? Can I zoom that a little bit?
Possibly Command Plus. Not sure if that.
I think I'm full screen, so I'll leave it for a minute. I don't know if I can do that. I could probably. Oh, hang on. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. That's a bit better, isn't it?
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So it's got to find the right bit. Yeah. Tic tac thing. Is that all right?
Yeah. That's much more zoomed in. Yeah.
It doesn't look like a. What does it look like?
This is why they called it a tic tac, innit? Because they couldn't figure out what the hell they call these things. Yeah, what would you call it? I don't know. It's like a little glowing peanut or something.
Yeah, and there's the missile, and these are the bits that come off it. Weird, huh?
Maybe they're little things that just like check out. It's like, what's going on? What's going on? They do a little bit of reconnaissance, and they're like, okay, everything's cool.
Well, it just looks like it's been fractured, but somehow the bits are still operative and flying, unless they're flying with inertia or something. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, it's not like a natural. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, I didn't notice it the first time.
And these things are keeping up with it. That's super weird. Yeah.
But I think maybe it would have that ability if you knocked like a chunk out of it to sort of not regenerate, but you know what I mean, come back together again. That would make sense.
So that doesn't look like a spaceship being flown by a creature. It's something like Jacques Vallée would describe as, something that's that's often described as a non-physical phenomenon that doesn't obey physical rules.
Yeah, I don't really subscribe to the idea that there's like little aliens sat in any of these things, really, to be honest with you. So I always thought it was more like reconnaissance, a bit like what we would do, what we already do. We sent out
the
Voyager.
Things I've seen were declassified.
We
could that not be some kind of
questions would
Chinese
be around
technology though? We can't.
Well, absolutely. Yes, if we're going to say that there's a possibility that it's come from outer space, we must also accept that there's a possibility it's come from the Earth itself. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, of course.
Because the Chinese were flying all sorts of weird drones and. Oh God! Did you see that stupid? They found that orb, that metallic orb that was apparently Alex Jones ran with this. There was a UFO. Did you see that? That was the fakest thing I've ever seen. Did you see that stuff?
I might have done. I'm not sure what you mean.
Yeah, hang on.
When did this come out? Recently.
This was about 2 weeks ago. This thing. I mean, I don't even know if this is even supposed to be serious.
I've not seen
it doesn't even.
I recognize the name. I don't think I've seen the actual.
It was. Yeah. It was supposedly. I mean, I don't know if it was something that was even intended to be taken seriously, but.
But it would make some kind
of... Joe Rogan's... it's just 6 months old, but Joe Rogan goes on about it. But, yeah.
It would make some kind of sense that there's some sort of reconnaissance on us by local... If there was a civilization that was local-ish to us or close enough to send something here. I mean, we're sending probes to Mars. So, I mean, it just follows that anything that's more significantly developed that can see that we're here and that knows that there's life here would be very interesting. Like, if we found an Earth... We'd be very interested in sending probes there. Do you know what I mean? So
you got this boogosphere. I mean, why would you call it a booger? But I mean, it just seems so fake and just like bullshit. There's some kind of alien artifact, you know?
So what? They had it there actually displayed somewhere as well. Was it in like a cabinet or something? Why is Bob Lazar talking about this?
I don't know. I just wondered if you'd seen it because I didn't look into it. I just saw this thing. I thought this is.
No, I might have to have a look about it later. I'm not sure. Did you manage to watch any of the Bob Lazar, Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I did. I have a few observations about it. Yeah, I have a few observations about that thing. Yeah, I mean, we'll go over them. I've made a few notes.
So I didn't get all the way through it. I got to about. Well, did I get all the way? I pretty much got all the way through. I got about 2 hours. It's about 2 hours and a half, isn't it?
Well, the thing is with Bob Lazar, though, I mean, he makes lots of claims. He supposedly did he work in Los Alamos, and he claims that he's claims to be a scientist and stuff, right?
Well, yeah, I think he's like a sort of propulsion engineer. I mean, he was putting like rockets on his car, wasn't he, or on his bike and stuff like that.
I don't know. I mean, some of the things he says. I mean, the main thing. There's not a lot of content in that video, Joe Rogan thing. The main thing they talk about is element 115, which is Moscovium. You know, you watched it, right?
Yeah. No, they talk a lot about that. I mean, the first time he goes on Joe Rogan, which was a couple of years ago, has got a lot more detail about his actual experience of, like, he goes into a lot more detail and walks Joe through his alleged, working in the, being asked to go and work on this alleged crashed craft. So he goes into a lot more detail there. This time he just seems to get drunk and they kind of like throw a few ideas around.
Yeah, well, listen, I noticed that he talks about this element 115, which is Moscovium, but it's a man-made element synthesized within year 2000 or something. It has a half-life of about 5 milliseconds. It has no stable isotopes. He claims that there's a stable isotope of Moscovium that has anti-gravity properties, and he makes some claims. That he says things like all elements have about 150 isotopes, and there's an island of stability. But there isn't, apparently, so far there isn't. Moscovium doesn't have a stable isotope. And most elements do not have 100 plus isotopes. Maybe they have a handful of isotopes. And it's when he gets caught up on this that he doesn't quite know what he's talking about regarding isotopes of elements, that he pivots to him being a little bit drunk. He asks Joe Rogan to pour him a coffee. Do you remember that?
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, we've got coffee. I didn't realize."
But he realizes he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he just runs out of stuff to say, doesn't he? And he blames the whiskey. And I thought that's a bit because he doesn't quite know how isotopes work. That there's maybe a handful of isotopes for elements, but there's not like 100, because he got caught up because he calls it element 115 because he thinks there's 115 different isotopes. There's no. It's a man-made. It's been made in a laboratory, and it literally exists for. I think 20 atoms of it have been made, and it lasts like half of a million, like a tiny fractional amount of time that it can exist for. But he's claiming this is used as the sort of anti-gravity fuel for this craft. The thing is with him is he has fake claims. He claimed that he has a master's degree in physics from MIT and electronics from Caltech, but those schools, MIT and Caltech, have no records of him attending or graduating.
Oh, really?
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. You see, this is the thing.
Well, another thing as well, I was going to say,
his response to that is that they scrubbed the records of him. Right, you can see that he's got an answer for that, right? Because it's so top secret. They've removed his records.
Yeah, I mean, what I was going to say as well is, first of all, what I'll say as well is, where's Dan's dollhouse is in the house.
Oh, great!
Giving us a thumbs up.
That's cool. That's great. I was wondering if he was around.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
Good to see you, man. Yeah. So what I was going to say as well is, Joe Rogan has often repeated, and especially when he's talking to other guests as well about Bob Lazar, because he's always bigging him up, and he keeps saying, "Well, his story's very consistent. It's very consistent," as if that proves anything. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that doesn't prove anything just because he keeps his story consistent. Do you know what I mean? It's quite easy to keep your story consistent, especially when you've been telling it for like 30 years or whatever. You just tell the same fucking story every time. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know why he keeps saying that as if it's some kind of proof, but yeah.
Also, Bob Lazar, he can't name any he doesn't name any classmates or professors who taught him. He's unable to name anyone. Even George Knapp has expressed doubts about the degrees. He wasn't a physicist at Los Alamos. Apparently, he was a technician for a contractor, Kirk Meyer. He has a criminal record. In 1990, he pleaded guilty to a felony pandering charge, which means running a brothel.
What? Whoa, hang on a second.
Yeah. This is true. Yeah, I found this. Grok told me all this.
And it's called a pandering charge.
Pandering charge. You mean
I hope a panda wasn't in charge.
Nice one, yeah. So it's all very dubious to me.
Oh, I didn't know that at all. I'm going to have to look that up now. That's hilarious. Running a brothel. That's fucking brilliant.
In 1990.
Where's Dolls? What I'm going to sorry to interrupt there. Where Dolls dance. I don't know how long you've been listening for, but what's your take on the UFO phenomenon? We've been chatting away a bit about it today and debunking a few things maybe and questioning a few things. But where do you stand on it? Do you think that we are being visited, or do you think they're like maybe more likely government like cover-ups and stuff like this of their own technology, secret technology? Be interesting to know what you think. But yeah, Bob Lazar running a brothel, great. That's not news that I expected to hear. Was that on the podcast? Because I must have missed that bit. It was
Grok. It was Grok.
Oh, just Grok that told you that. Okay.
So his claims are that when he was working at Area 51, Groom Lake in Nevada, he said he was hired to a contractor to help reverse engineer extraterrestrial technology. 9 aircraft. Stored in hangars, different designs. He worked on one, the so-called sports model, a silver disc-shaped saucer.
Yeah, he calls it the sports.
Made of a single piece of metallic material. Cramped space you had to crawl in, 3 small seats. I just don't believe it. Yeah, and the thing is, the propulsion system, which is his main grift, it's an antimatter reactor. A basketball-sized hemisphere using a stable isotope of element 115, muscovium, which doesn't exist and can't exist now, as far as we know. Apparently it made the spaceship weigh 223 grams because of this material. It negates gravity, so this whole craft weighed only like half a pound of half a pound.
Almost similar to sort of like a neutron star type sort of packing the way that it works in terms of like having a lot of mass in a small space. Oh no, because they're heavier, aren't they? Forget I said that.
Okay, but there's no reason. There's no reason to believe him. I'm just like, I mean, why should we believe? Especially, he can't name any professors or classmates. There's no official record of him at MIT or, and also he's into running brothels, which is the whole thing. It just seems very suspicious. Yeah.
So Where Dolls has come back and he said he sees it because he sees it via a Christian prism. He sees it as a potential demonic deception.
I believe it's that. I believe so, yeah. But I don't necessarily believe Bob even saw anything. I think it's the thing is as well. He pivots to this Zeta Reticuli thing.
Oh yeah,
which is something I can talk about next week because I did a bit of looking into the story of Bob and Barney Hill.
Okay, we can go into that next week.
Yeah, this guy interesting, and it involves hypnotic regression and mind control, and it's a very interesting phenomenon because part of the UFO phenomenon is not just seeing weird things in the sky, but it's also that abduction law, and this is where it all began. The whole abduction, the breeding program. It began with Bob and Barney Hill, and we can look into them next week, which is what we'll do. Yeah, so that'll be good. So,
that'll
right.
be fun. Yeah, it's been a good one, man. Enjoyed it again.
All right, great. Yeah. So, all right, and so we're going to be here at the same time, same place in cyberspace next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Right?
Yeah, man.
All right, great.
Be a good. Because I'd like to get into it's fascinated me for quite a while. I haven't looked into it so much recently, but I went through a period of like getting into the whole and kind of investigating the whole sort of Zeta Reticuli theories and all that. So I'll have some stuff for next week for sure. We can get into it.
Because that's it. Because Bob Lazar, he leans into that. That's part of his sort of not theology, but his sort of his belief system in the aliens thing, and that is interesting. The Bob and Barney Hill thing. Well, I won't say what I think about it. We'll discuss it, and we'll do that next week then. Yeah,
absolutely, man.
All right,
look, Arsenal are going to be playing PSG in the Champions League final.
Oh, how fantastic! Yeah, I'm great. I mean, well done. That's wonderful.
It's on my birthday night as well.
May 30th, isn't it? I think, right? Is it?
The final's going to be on my birthday night. My birthday is actually June the 1st, but obviously
that's brilliant. Hopefully, that's a great early birthday gift for you. Bro.
That'd be like that would be a hell of a
imagine.
You're going to see it. People are going to see as well. Like the streets are going to be hectic. It's going to be
particularly around like North London. You'd have thought.
My God, Islington Borough. And
they'll be out on the streets. They'll go nuts. They'll go absolutely balmy.
It will be crazy, and people can be reminded. Because there's been question marks over how big a club we are, and I think people are going to be reminded of that.
That's brilliant.
In a few weeks. So yes,
it's good for the sport as well. Putting Arsenal back on top. I mean, we'll see, but it's good for football anyway. I mean,
it's about time. It's about time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, brilliant.
Cool, man.
All right, good stuff.
Good to see you. Cheers to Where Dolls Dance for popping by. Hope to see you next week. And
yes, and keep tumbling and don't get abducted, guys. Just keep your head on the swivel. Watch out for what? For
just keep your eyes and ears open.
Yeah, keep your mind open, but don't let your brain fall out. Anyway,
on that note.
Cheerio, guys. All right.
Cheerio. See you later.